Okay. And let's see. Why do they care so much what others think? Because there it is, that peer pressure. Why do they hide their faith? Okay. Feel such a strong need to be on social media. All right. So I'm going to hit live now. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Lord. And according to, I don't know which color, what did, 659. Everybody got 659?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it says in live video.
That's when
Live
you're
there
down.
right now.
Oh, because I'm live. Hey, I didn't realize I was live. Okay, well, we still have a minute before we get on and get started here. And that minute is up. And so, welcome to the Word Exploration Cafe. And this cafe is going to be off the chain because here we're going to be spilling the tea on the teens. So, we're going to give a few seconds for more people to come on and get on because I know there are a lot of questions out there. People have sent so many questions. You know, Lazaric, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all of them tonight, but if not, I guess there will be a part 2. So what we have here at the Word Exploration tonight, we have Lazaric Franklin, and Lazaric Franklin, yay! You know, give him a hand. Lazaric Franklin is the man to be in the house because Lazaric is the father of teens currently, and some that have already gone on. You know, they've grown up, but you know, they still around. But he has been the dean of discipline in an elementary school, and now is the dean of discipline in a high school, where the children end up respecting him and also listening to him. So I don't think it started in the school itself, but it really started at home, right? Yes. And so we're going to get a lot of his information on how he was able to work with the teens in his own household and just relay that wisdom to you. And you guys can encourage him because he's going to be writing a book on this very soon. Yes. And so you can look forward to that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And here's a question. We've got questions out there. We said we're going to talk about, you know, spilling the tea on the teens. So there's a lot of teens questions because the teenagers, that teen age, you thought the terrible twos were something else. You get into the teens and it's like, that's a whole nother story, right? Oh, okay. We're going to do a little cleanup here, and I am still going to give folks a little bit more time to get on. And before we start that, I want to just play a little quick game with you, and it's called Who Am I? And so begin to think about this. I found this is coming from a 15-year-old wrote this. His name is Sean Covey, and it's Who Am I? And it says, I'm your constant companion. I'm your greatest helper or heaviest burden. Who am I? I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half the things I do, you might just as well turn over to me, and I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. Who am I? I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. Who am I? I am the servant of all great individuals, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. So who am I? Who are we talking about here? I am not a machine, though. Even though I work with all precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a human. You may run me for a profit or you can run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Who am I? Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? Who is that? It is a thing. It's not a machine. But who is it? Well, some of you all can put it out there. Who do you think we're talking? Who am I? Who is this person that's talking that can do all that? I'm just going to make it quick for you. That person says, I am habit. And that is what a habit will do. It can take you to success or it can take you to ruin. So as we start talking about spilling the tea on the teens, we want to begin to be thinking about what habits are you training your teens to have in ways that they listen to you and ways that they don't listen to you. So with that, I'm going to jump right in and ask the first question. So Lazaric.
Yes.
Here's a question. What responsibilities should our teens have in the house?
So I think that teens should, I always have my teens that the house come first, because for me, the house is your sanctuary, it's your safe place. It's where even when school is not treating you right, or your job, you at least got home where you can go there and everybody there love you, they want to feed you and help you. So you need to treat it as such. And so I think the responsibility of keeping it clean, and that's really like one of your contributions to the household, that you have a roof over your head. And so I think that helping clean, like say your room, and then some other part of the house, and I feel like a schedule should be made so you can keep that part of the house clean. But I know sometimes that teens feel like their life is so hectic, like they got school, they got homework, they got after school. And I'm not saying that those not important, but when those fade away, your household is still there. So they need to take ownership of their house.
That's right. Take ownership and get into the habit of cleaning that place up. I mean, well, you know how that is. But it needs to be a habit, though, right? Yeah. Train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're older, they will not depart, right? Okay. All right. So here's another question. How do you address the cell phone issue?
Cell phone?
What boundaries do you have for kids on cell phones?
Well, in our house, we have, first of all, I think every parent should pay for their kids' cell phone service, because then you control the cell phone. Meaning that there's a lot of technology out there as far as cell phone, where you can block certain calls. You can actually, put your own lock code on it, so you control. There's a lot of technology part of it. Also, you should be able to get them a rule, like one of the rules we had, depending on the grade they was in, that's the time they have to turn it in. So if they're in 8th grade, they got to turn in at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So that's just another rule of you, gauging them. And then everybody in the household, including the parents, should have the same lock code. Like, everybody in the household got the same lock code. So there's no secrets in our house. So it's like, and then you determine, and again, you kind of determine just even the apps they download and stuff like that, if you wanted to. And one thing that I do on my kid's phone at a certain age, I create an email address so they can't download anything until I put in the password. And so this is another way for them to kind of filter stuff through you. And you got to make sure you tell your kid the cell phone is for me to get in contact with you. That's the first priority of it.
Good. They know the purpose of it, so they don't abuse it.
Yes.
It's not to do what kinds of things?
Well, I mean, you get the perks of it, but, you get the perks of playing, the games. You probably download fun games, but you shouldn't be breaking rules on the phone. If your parents say you can't date or you can't talk after this, or you shouldn't be watching inappropriate stuff. So I would say that kids, their teens going to be teens, but parents, you need to do a random check on your kid's phone all the time. You need to watch body signals. If they turning away from you when they're using their phone, they talking or doing something they got no business doing. If they staring too long, you need to figure out what they're watching that. And just ask them a question. And sometimes you need to just tell if there's a trust issue with your kids, you need to say, okay, you only can use your phone in this common area and not in your room. So just different ways, and it all depends. But as they get older, you get them a little bit more trust, with the phone. Yeah.
So what if the kids respond to you and say, wait a minute, you're invading my privacy?
No.
That's invading my privacy, man. Come on.
Again, this is why you pay for the cell phone bill, right? And so you don't have no privacy. And that needs to be taught to them in the beginning, You pay the cell phone bill, you let them know, those are my phone, but you just using them. And it's for me to get in contact with you. That's it. And then you need to be training your kids on, you need to be in the community. Like, we have a group chat with everybody in the house. So we need to get a communication out about, because we have a very busy household. So we need to get communication out about, stuff that's going on in the house. We need it done quick. So set up group text. also, like, we got a text where it's just maybe me and the boys, and then the wife, and so, but just those text messages. But it's a communication device first and foremost. And so even the kids, I got kids, they are senior, and they not only that, out of some of them out of college, if they not being home at a certain time, they have to text me and let me know because they still in the household and certain rules still apply to them. Okay. So it's not about privacy again. Yeah. And I have a son who's 21 years old, and he's still on my cell phone plan. So that means he better contact me when I text him.
And now that's the truth of the matter. The other, and the depth of that is because if you, as a parent, we love our children, and because do we stop loving them when they stop being teens?
No.
No, it doesn't. It never ends. So you never let go of that. Okay. Right. All right. So here's another question: why do you think teens feel that they actually need to date?
Need to date?
Need to date.
I think this is a part of growing up. Like, it's just a part of growing up. And I know, like, right now, I'm playing the devil advocate right now for the teens, but a little bit, you know. No, I'm just saying, like, back in the days, you know, people would date and be married at 16, 13. I'm just saying. And so it wasn't frowned upon, like, in those days. But today it's kind of frowned upon because there's so much at their dispense. At their fingertips. And so I feel like at a certain age, like, boys and girls, they start to find each other attractive, right? And they want to date. I think the biggest conception what the kids have, what they feel like they have to date right now, because they feel like that one person that they like is going to give away if they don't date them right now. Yeah. And so that's the biggest issue. But we all know that if it ain't you, it's somebody else. Like, and that's a true saying when they say it ain't Mr. Right. It's Mr. Right Now, you know, and so, or Miss Right Now, you know. If it ain't you, it's going to be your friend. It's going to be somebody else, you know. And so they think, like, if I don't date this gentleman right now or date this...
We're off now, aren't we? Are we on? Oh, okay.
It's told her to log back in.
It's telling me to log back in.
So it says,
are you catching up? Interrupted.
Yeah, it told me to log back in. So where is it?
You got to go live again.
Just go live.
Where's the live
right
button?
Yes. Right here. Yep.
No, where?
It's right here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
It's still paused, so maybe it is.
Just go live now. There, pick it.
It's frozen, yeah.
Oh, okay. 2, 3. Okay, slight interruption, but go ahead and pick it up.
I think I left off is that the reason why kids feel like they need a date right now because they feel like the person that they crushing on, if they don't get them right now, somebody else gonna get them. And but obviously, you know, that's the only urgency of it. So.
Okay. And let me just add to that I think another reason is because they get some identity by that. You know, I want to, you know, I belong to this person, this one is mine, and they're trying to grab hold of that. That's why it's important to make sure your kids understand what their purpose in life is. And no, they haven't figured it out yet, no, but you give them the purpose. Mm-hmm. So just like you give them the cell phone, you give them the purpose for the cell phone. Mm-hmm. You give them whatever they're getting, they need to understand the purpose so they don't abuse it. Yeah. And then they need to understand the purpose of their own body, their own temple as well. They need to hear how precious that is and what happens if you don't take care of it, even right then. So a lot of that is about education, but most important for them to really be whole within themselves. You really don't need another person at that age because you don't have enough sense. That's just bottom line. Not until you're about 25 years old, right? Okay, so help them with their own identity. Help them to have purpose in life. Help them to have some goals that are more important to them than just being able to say someone else is my possession or I belong to someone else. Okay.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, I would say real quick that I think one of the biggest issues that parents have with their teens is the teens want to date and then you break and let them date. So if they're not ready, you put them in a situation. Yeah. So when something happened, then now you mad at this teen. Yeah. You know, but you put them in that situation. If you know that, like your rule, like my rule from the beginning of my kids, that you can't date till you get 18, and that's no breaking. I might bend a little bit. Say, you know what? Like I've been on a rule. I've been on the same rule and say, you know what? It ain't 18. You could, but at your senior year in January, you can start dating. Because what happened is that teens, when they start dating too young, nothing else matters but their boyfriend and their girlfriend.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. School don't matter no more. Work don't matter. Family don't matter no more. They get irritated at their brothers and sisters quickly. They don't want to do household chores. Like nothing matters because you put them in a situation. But like when they at that age where they're a senior and it's the middle of their senior year, they thinking about college. They thinking about that. So even if they significant other or boyfriend girlfriend is tripping or don't last, it's not gonna stop the process because they already see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know. And so it's like when you put them in that situation and they just start thinking like, you know what, nothing else matters. It's just me and him or him and her against the world. You setting them up. It's really a big distraction.
All right. Amen. I hope you all grab that and really meditate that, salah that, and take it a little further and go deeper. And don't be ashamed if you haven't done it so far. It's never too late to get started. It's never too late to get started. Okay, so here's another question. Why do you think they hide their faith?
That's a good question. I kind of told them this before. Is that I told them this last week in my youth program? Is that there's now I'm kind of trying to explain it again. There's this picture with two bodies of water meet but don't mix. Because both bodies of water know their identity, right? And then so now we put these kids in a school system where they're there most of the time in the school system where it's okay to not be in faith. It's okay to not serve God. It's okay. But then we want our kids to go in this system, but they're not trained. Like you trained to be unsaved in the school system, but you're not trained to be saved in the school system. And so what end up happening is they end up meeting them, then they end up mixing, and then they lose their identity.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's one of the biggest why they hide it, because now, and I talk to a lot of kids, and they say, "Oh, I went to church," or this and that, but you will never tell. Like we look at the picture of the two oceans, you know which ocean is different because there is one is thicker than the other, one is colder than the other. But if I look down the CPS hallway, I can't tell which body is saved, which is unsaved. And so that's what, and they end up, but it's more, but the unsaved, they in their environment. Like this is what they do. They come and they come there, and it's okay to not have faith and to live like you've never been saved before. And the Christians or the people with faith are just following suit now because they are being changed by their environment.
Yeah. And otherwise we call that peer pressure. And that pressure is really real. So again, it's kind of like make sure they are grounded in who they are for real. Okay.
And also what's the question about peer pressure?
Yeah. Why do they hide their faith?
Yeah. Okay. Now go ahead. I'm stopped right there. Right?
Okay, you're done with that.
Yeah.
You don't want to touch on that anymore.
But I was going to say, because I think you're about peer pressure. No.
Peer pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one that says, why do they care so much about what others think of them? That's kind of getting into there. Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's go back to the question I want to say. In high school, like I mentioned again, I talked about this last week, is that the amount of peer pressure that kids see going from one class to the other is unreal. And they got 4 minutes to go from one class to and they see people smoking weed, people gang banging, fights, touching each other inappropriately. Like they see all this stuff in 4 minutes. So imagine them trying to get from one class to another one with all this peer pressure and not get involved. And these are their friends they see them doing this, right? And then people cutting class, people leaving out the school. They see all of this. And they got to do this 8 times a day. And you sending your kids there, and they're not trained to handle that because we tell them to do one thing, but nobody training them to do it.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying like let's shore it up a little bit more at home. Yeah. And let's hold each other accountable.
Yeah, and at home and in the churches, and one of the thing I got in my study this week for my youth group is that God never meant for parents to raise their kids alone.
Come on.
Never.
Come on now.
Because when you look at it, like God spoke everything else, right? But when he came to make man, he went and got the whole village.
Yeah.
He said, let us make man, right? He spoke the whole village. He came and got the whole village. But yet, we try to do it by ourselves. We trying to hold it. Like it was never meant for us to raise kids by ourselves. So it's supposed to be a village. It's supposed to be the parents, and it's supposed to be the teachers and the mentors and the church, especially, help raising the youth. It was never meant for us to do it by ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and I would say parents, be so bold as to do this. When my kids were in high school, I made connections with key people in the high school that would keep an eye on them and call me. So we had the phone, we wasn't texting, call me or beat me. That's how long ago it was. And let me know if mine are acting up. And some of them, I had to give them permission to discipline them. I'm like, I know what the school says, but I trust you. You see them cutting up? Take care of it.
And another thing too is like, again, just being biblical, is that like God really made parents to train up his kids. Like when you think about it, he didn't have. I say he didn't have to make parents, because you look at the first man he made, he didn't have a parent. He made them. So, but everybody else coming through by the way of parents, right? Because because Adam, I believe, even because Adam, he knew Adam was gonna touch that tree or whatever. He's like, this man need to be trained. I need some people in place that are gonna train my kids to honor me and to respect me, And so I think parents, that's one of your main priorities. So you not training your kids in the way they should go, is say that.
Yeah. You
should train them in the way they should go, so they don't depart. And so what I'm saying is that the main reason we put on this earth is to train our kids.
Yeah, that is very biblical. I was looking at it in the Bible. So over in Proverbs, the 23rd chapter, if you all want to go and take a note and start meditating and looking at that, it says, Proverbs, the 23rd chapter, what verse do I want? Okay, which one? Tell me. 7? Okay, 7. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I want the one about the child. Train up a child. What is it? Okay. Oh, I can't find it now. Wouldn't you know I wouldn't find it now? All right. Okay. You don't have it, Michelle?
Verse 13.
13, thank you. Without correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. If you beat the child with the rod, he's not going to die, okay? All right. And that's what you got to know. Now, that doesn't mean discipline and beating like that is two different things, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about discipline? Like if the sparing that rod and with the child.
Yeah, we talking about discipline. The first thing people think about is
the
first thing people thinking about is actually hitting a kid, right? And not saying to shy away from that, but discipline, like they even trying to change the word even at school. Like they always try, like in the school system, they try to soften the blow. But at the end of the day, they try to soften the blow to get away from those hard words. But it is what it is, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of ways to discipline people. I mean, discipline kids. Some kids, and this is what you got to know, like, your kid. Like, some kids, you can talk to them, and they will cry harder than you hitting them, right? Yeah. Because your words mean everything to them, And then there's other kids, you have to actually touch them. Like, you have to actually, whip them. But, like, when you whip them, you want to make sure that you're not that angry to where you're taking your anger or what they did off on them. Right. So, but you should literally, like, come back, talk to your kid. Like, even take an hour or two, just think about it. Because by that time, you're going to calm down. Okay. Then you can go back to them and explain what they did. And you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you 3 licks or 4 licks, whatever. Like, tell them. Like, make it a corporate decision. This is what's going to happen. Yes. And then after that, let them cool off. Then you come back and tell them what your expectation is of them. And this is where, like, you're not mean, like, you're not cursing, you're not, hitting them just because you're angry, and you're hitting them everywhere, outside the head and the back, kicking them, stomping them, No, I'm just saying, like, this is how it's received with love from the child, and then some, like you can take away the phone privileges and TV, like, there's a lot of ways. So when you say discipline, people always think all the way, about hitting of the kids.
Okay, so
also I was say too. Yeah. If you discipline your kids from age 1 to 5, 5 to 20 would be easy. Like a lot of people tend to no, smack them thighs. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say it, like, you can say no, you can say that. I'm just saying, like, the longer you wait to really discipline your kid, and not just saying hit them. I'm talking about if they, having them fit, have them sit out in the timeout corner. Like, don't. What's the word?
Don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it, first of all, but don't compromise so much just because they're babies.
Yeah.
You know, and that way you can, you know, when they get 6 and 7, they know your certain voice carry that, okay, this is my mom for real voice. I better stop. Or that look you get them, you know, like these are things that is key. Like, you know, so, but it'll help you when they over 5 years old.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So don't be scared. Okay, so another question, we have a couple more here. Why, about social media? Why do kids feel such a strong need to be on social media? Hello.
Again, it's really just the newest thing right now. Like, and before social media, like, what were they doing before social media?
The hotlines.
Exactly, and that was our generation. We was on hotline, you know, and people like I said, people get so uptight about social media, right? Which you should monitor. You should always monitor, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that the reason why social media looks so bad because the access to what we had to walk, mail, whatever, it's not at your fingertips.
Right.
And so the parents don't have time to filter through it, right? And then, and the other thing is that social media, where stuff has always been happening in the world, like, you know, anything you name, I'm talking about from sex trafficking to gang banging to all the other stuff, it just wasn't recorded. It wasn't, you had to hear about it. It's always, oh man, you would have been there, you would have seen it. But now everything is being recorded and filmed, you know, and so like these kids are having like a flood of stuff coming right through their eye gate, and that's the main reason why you want to protect them, because what they are actually seeing and hearing. And so even on social media, like one of the rules in our house is that we determine which social media you can be on and at what age. And you have to make sure that we have that same social media platform, and you have to be our friend, at least until you're 18.
Yes. Okay. All right. And
we got all the passwords. You know, we do random checks. And like I said, my kids ain't perfect by far. Like, they teenagers. But we are parents, so they teenagers, we parents. So the teens gonna do what they do, and parents need to do what they need to do.
Yes, that's right, because that is precious cargo we're dealing with here. So with the social media, that is really not. If you're having a challenge too with going into your children's room to check out what's in there, or maybe if you've gotten past that, then you can get past the social media, to go into their rooms and their social media rooms and check out what they're doing. You have to be able to do that to protect them. There is so much out there. This is more for their protection than for their quote-unquote privacy. And at the end of the day, when they're minors, you are responsible. We are responsible for them. We have to raise them up, okay? All right, so here's another question. Let's see. Oh, the social media. No, maybe we have it. Oh, grades. Here's a good one. What if our teens' grades are not the greatest? How much pressure do you put on them without pushing them away?
Well, I always tell my kids this, is that no matter what, you should always aim for A. You know, because you want to always give your best. And so you aim for A, and but the best was your C, and then you okay with that, right? And to be honest, like the funny thing for me, like our greatest skill, this is how my greatest skill is. Like if you are F, you got an F, you did nothing. If you got a D, you barely did anything. And C, I need to find out if you're really struggling, or you just doing bare minimum. And a B and an A, you know, is like a B is like okay, good. A is like okay, you're supposed to get an A, right? And so those are the greatest skills, because especially if you're in a public school system, there just ain't no way. Like you should be in an F and a D. Like I'm just sorry, it just ain't no. It just ain't it. You know. So I will always say that you need to always like. First of all, most people, they struggle with one or the other reading or math. So you need to find out which one they're struggling with. So if it's really reading, they need it. So if their grades are kind of like dwindling in like reading and social studies, you need to figure out how to have twos or tutoring, or even have your teacher to figure out how can they learn, right? Mm-hmm. If it's math, it's the same thing. You know, like how do you get tutoring or figure out how to get help, right? But then you always have a plan for your kids. Like so my kids have a C. I'm asking them, like, what do we need to do to get a B? I look at their grades and say, okay, what is assignment at? Why you got a D on that assignment? Why you got an F on your test? Okay, this is why you got a C. Now I need to know that you're studying for your test. Because what happened is with grades, you want to make sure they're doing their best. That's all you can ask, because they doing everything they need to get an A, even if they get a C. Because what happened is those habits, we talk about habits, they carry on to their adult life.
Yes.
You know, when they're going to start getting a job, and they're going to be mediocre at their job. They're going to be mediocre at church. They're going to be mediocre at other places. So you want to make sure. So it's the habit of them doing their best.
Yes.
So that's why you need to be concerned about the grades.
Okay, well, that's a good place for us to kind of wrap this up now, and we're going to close it out for now. If you have more questions, keep on bringing them in. We will be back here every third and fourth Wednesday. Thank you so much, Lazarick, for your great wisdom. I hope you guys receive that. And let's keep talking about it. This is the Word Exploration Cafe. And if you can join us live here on this location, and that's in the notice as well, join us sometime, because there's going to be an after party after this, and we're going to go a little deeper in there. We will be looking at Proverbs, the 22nd and the 23rd chapter. So go there and get some wisdom. And that's a good place to find out how to raise your children too. That book of Proverbs was written to say, here is for anyone that wants some wisdom. And we need wisdom in raising our teens. And so I'm going to close it out here. Thank you again, Lazarick, for joining us tonight. And we were spilling the tea on the teens. I hope you got that. And you're like, you got your paper towel and you're soaking it up and laying it dry out, Don't just hear this word, but do something with it. I don't know what that thing is saying. Anyway, we love you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. God bless. All right. Bye-bye now.